It's the first ever women's only wellness retreat in Meghalaya where women connect, restore, and thrive in the heart of nature. It is designed by women for women to build a community of supportive and strong women. Centered around 4 core pillars, the retreat offers an immersive journey into the holistic well-being and emphasizes the connection with the 5 elements of nature, bringing them into harmony with the mind, body, and soul. It's a circle of powerful women coming together to birth and transform a new world. Welcome to Suki Women's Wellness Retreat. Suki is a vision manifested by 3 women. Women who aspire to create a safe space for women to reconnect and find balance, inner peace, and renewed energy. And I'm thrilled to announce that all 3 of them, Habari Warjri, Priyanjali Das, and Thais Khemlinra, are in the house. Ladies and gents, welcome to a brand new edition of Shillong Buzz. I'm Aaron Lingdo. It's time to meet my guests. Let's begin with the name, Suki. I know what it means because I'm a local and I'm from this side of the country. Let's start. What does it mean? Give us a little bit of context.
Okay, we came up with the name Suki because with relevance to women in particular, Suki means slow down in Khasi. And women, and especially mothers and maybe women at all stages of their life, are always rushing and multitasking and serving others first usually. You know, it's taking care of your parents, of your children, then taking care of the household, and some women take it on and work at the same time.
Correct.
So it's a it's pretty challenging job that women have, and so we wanted to bring out this name Suki to slow down, take time for yourself, and introspect, and look into ourselves a bit.
So, all 3 of you are from different fields. I did a little bit of research. Habari is a certified nutritionist. Priyanjali is a yoga and sound therapist. And Thais Khem, of course, is the experience creator. Tell me something. How did you guys get together? And more importantly, what's the mission of this initiative that you've started?
So, yeah, we've been friends for some time. So it just so happened that Priyanjali has always been into, she's a yoga therapist, a sound therapist, and a psychologist. So she's been doing this, and she visited Sora last year and she wanted to do something. And because she knew me, she got in touch with me and we were catching up and all that. And then, so she tried to do this, and at that time I didn't really even understand what sound therapy was, or I didn't really understand myself. Mm-hmm. But then slowly, I don't know, it's like we were brought together, to this, to where we are now, because we've all been through different journeys, which led us all together. Like, for example, it wasn't a coincidence, if I think about it now, that Habari got her nutrition certificate right before Suki,
Right. Congratulations for that.
And for me too, it's like, it just felt like the right time. I've always been into, business, and I've always done my own thing. But then I don't know, we just found ourselves together, and then we just felt like, I have always been into management, and this was a great thing to do, because ever since I moved to Sora, which is like 2 years back also, I started getting in touch with nature, and I've always wanted, wanted to share this with other people too. So, and then I have a passion for management and for tour management especially. So we felt like it was the perfect fit, the 3 of us.
So you know what, before I get into the nitty-gritty of the research, I want you guys to clarify one thing for me. Your page mentioned, and it says, this retreat is an invitation to join this movement. What movement are we talking about, Priyanjali?
So the movement is literally women taking accountability and ownership of the, as we like to call it, the divine feminine within, which is essentially them really accepting themselves for who they are. There's often this misconception that you either choose to be a mom or you choose to be a working mother and do everything, or you choose to be child free, and there's a little bit of guilt somewhere involved in all of it, or as Habari was saying, this drive, this hustle to want to do it all, to be the perfect woman.
Correct.
So this was about more taking accountability, joining this movement where you can just feel free to be yourself. And one of the main thing for us, I think it's a very prevalent thing in the world right now, and especially in our country, is feeling safe as a woman. And once a woman feels safe, she can truly embody the divine feminine that she has within her. So for us, this movement is about women taking ownership of their divine feminine. It is also about the fact that women give birth, women raise kids, and strong women raise strong individuals and humans, and those humans go on to make an impact in the world. So for us, it's very important to have the dominoes effect, that we start with a group of women and the lives that they'll impact here on and so forth. I think that is true service for us and the movement that we want to encourage.
Fair enough. That's pretty interesting, by the way. So let's dive into the details. You've just wrapped up your 4-day retreat. Congratulations. How was it in the first place?
Undescribable.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So what went down those 4 days? Can you break it down for the viewers? I know what sound therapy is, but if you can explain a little bit, what all activities happened those 4 days? Why don't you start and then you guys can chime in?
Sure. So just a little background and context. The three of us, we are the three pillars, as we would like to call, of Suki Suki.
Right.
So a big tangent of Suki Suki was, you know, as we would say in the yoga world, ahar, vihar, vichar. Ahar is nourishment, nutrition. Vihar is the environment or the surrounding that affects you.
Right.
Vichar is the mindset, or in our case, the well-being practices that we offer. So all of those were incorporated in these days. And we also took our time to honor the elements. So each day was based on an element. And that was our own little, I would say, creative take on offering these different wellness practices to the women who came in. Some of the things that we covered is not just movement and yoga, not just a sound bath, but even things like literally going out in nature and honoring nature. So something as simple as just listening to the sounds of nature. Most of the practices, whether it's the meditative practices, the introspective writing practices that we also offer, are all things that they can take back with them. And I think that was very, very important, at least for myself as the person curating the journey of introspection, of inner inquiry. So just to give you an example, some of the things we did was we went into the cave of Meghalaya and we honored the cave, and in some cultures the cave is symbolic of the womb of Mama Earth.
Wow.
And then we did a womb meditation there, which is just honoring the womb and working with the idea of honoring that womb space. Now that's a little bit more of an introspective practice. We also did practices that was all about collective. So, you know, coming together in a bonfire, holding hands, being merry. So it wasn't just that, okay, it's about my individual journey, but how do I connect with other women?
Right.
And I think one of the primary things for us was also to empower women that, hey, it's not just that, you know, the divine feminine and I'm going to take care of myself, but it's also about the roles that we take, the tangible outcomes. So we had something called the leadership, the feminine leadership model, which was basically an entire training on how they can sync their cycles to different tasks and projects so that they can take it back into their workplace.
Wow.
So that was a leadership training, given the fact that I've had
some experience, and I worked in training and development before I jumped into yoga. That's something that we also wanted to give back. So it was a journey of introspection, of taking charge, of connecting with other women, and then eventually taking it out into the world. So they step out as, you know, hopefully a better version of themselves.
Nice.
Or just rather, not even better version, I would say just accepting themselves as they are. And that just itself makes you a better version when you just accept yourself as you are.
Sounds good to me already. Let's jump into the food. 21st century.
Yeah.
We're all looking for healthy options, organic, you name it. Let's talk a little bit about the food. What happened? Who curated what?
Okay, so I was looking after the food. Food has actually been, it's a passion of mine, because I'm always looking for healthier ways to to eat. After I got certified as a certified nutrition coach and health coach actually, which involves not only food but movement as well, I ended up doing a lot more research on especially our local ingredients and how I can use them in a healthy way. Not only just going by local recipes, but using what we have locally, but making things that people can start to put on their plate more often, because the trend is that now people hear that a new thing is is healthy for you. For example, chia seeds. Just an example, and it's it's a bit expensive.
I take it every morning, but it is expensive.
It is expensive, but they actually don't know that our nele or peria seeds is actually quite an equal powerhouse to chia seeds in terms of omega-3 and a lot of vitamins and minerals it offers.
Right.
For example, so when we use it a lot of in khasi in cooking, nele peria seeds. So that's an example of what I wanted to introduce during the retreat as well. I did introduce some of our participants to khasi food, but I did some fusion, which is I did change things a bit. Like maybe I used less oil, or I added new ingredients which are not predominant here, which people don't really like. A lot of legumes and different kinds of ways of making meat. More healthier ways. Not going, the taste shouldn't be affected obviously, but in a healthier way. So it was my pleasure actually, because this was my first time I got to actually be creative with food, and I whatever I plated and I served the participants was something new, not for me but for them as well. And it was it was a joy to see how they dealt with it and tasted the ingredients. And I not only did serve them, but I explained the benefit of each food that they were having, and why its benefit. For example, if it's sourdough bread, which I bake, why is the probiotics in sourdough bread good for you? How does it, the gluten in it, and how does it affect blood sugar, for example? So those small things, I wanted to introduce to them and explain to them how they can, even in their own lives, go back and apply these principles of a balanced diet. How do you go about using local ingredients, not necessarily having to buy expensive imported things, but trying to just make the little effort to make changes in your diet for your own health and for your family's health as well. So it was a great experience for me, and I really look forward to doing more of it.
So, if I understood you guys correctly, so the farm to table concept is there. So that means everything that you source has been locally sourced.
Correct,
am I correct?
Yes.
Perfect. There's a drink that you make which is very special, and I want you to tell the viewers what it is and a little bit about your involvement and your role in the retreat.
Sure. So the drink I make is Arka kombucha. It's a kombucha. So kombucha is a fermented tea.
Okay.
Again,
I will take some for my mom when I go back home.
Yeah, please,
right?
please.
Brilliant.
So it's a fermented tea. It's not a local drink. It actually started from the Chinese dynasty, but then it's very popular in a lot of places, all over the world. And I just thought that it was a drink I love to drink too, So it's healthy, it's a probiotic, it cleans your gut, you know, it pulls out all the toxins from your stomach and your liver and it flushes out. So kombucha is something which, you know, it's more like a lifestyle, like a daily thing that you do instead of a drink. But also, it's also a very good alternative to stop drinking alcohol, because, you know, there's you sip it and then you eat it with something salty. Because, you know, a lot of times when people try to quit alcohol, you know, more than the alcohol, they miss that social gathering of being with friends, and friends are drinking and then you're not drinking and you feel very left out. But kombucha is a very good substitute, you know, to be sipping on something without feeling left out, you know, from the social gathering.
Where can we find it?
Yeah, and so actually I do supply it in Shillong in some cafes, but then right now, so I do it batch wise. So I promote it on social media that it's available. This batch is available in these outlets in Shillong. So that's how you can find it, or you can, you know, DM us directly and we can get it delivered to you. And my role in the Suki is I'm the experience curator, and I'm also handling the management and operations of Suki. And so, like I said, I've been in Sora for 2 years, and I feel like nature in itself is a very it's a healing aspect, you know. So combined with good food and the meditation and all that, it's a full healing process. So yeah, that's my role in Suki.
See, I'm hearing a lot of divine feminine potential. A personal question: will you ever consider doing it an all-men retreat, probably one day? Just thinking out loud.
Well, for starters, I like if there is a space holder that would do justice to it, because we firmly believe, and it's coming from a space of authenticity, that all the practices that we've done, we've tried it ourselves. We're all in our own path, on our own journey of exploring and unraveling what is this thing called the divine feminine, and hence we felt called to do this, because everything that these ladies went through, we've done it. We've gone through it. So it just feels like, you know, it's from a more authentic space when we know it, and hence we wanted to work with women because we know how it is to be women.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how happy are you guys with the outcome of the retreat? Let's start one by one. Let's go with okay, let's go.
1, 2, 3, 11.
So I won't ask why, because obviously we heard a lot of good things throughout the interview. Why should women be part of Suki, let's say, in the days to come, in the near future? Why should they sign up for this retreat? Let's go one by one again. Let's start with Chalo, with Taiskham.
Why should women? And actually, this is something I wanted to mention in the interview, is that why should anybody, let's say, come to a place like Cherrapunji from the operations and the experience side, I'm telling you.
True.
So we already have a lot of tourists coming to Sora, for example, or to Meghalaya. But then, you know, I think it's high time that we start attracting the right kind of tourists.
Because we're looking for experience, right?
Yeah,
it's not just mountains and hills, we're looking for experience.
Yeah,
correct?
So, you know, like a lot of states I've seen, you know, they have tourism, and then it just like, it's being promoted, and then people are all going, and then the place is left not looking the way it did in the beginning. And then people stop going because, you know, it's too many tourists, they say that. So it's high time that I feel like people should start visiting Cherrapunji or Meghalaya, and the kind of people that we should attract also should be people who are like, who would respect the culture, respect the nature, respect the food, respect how we live, you know. So like for example, we had this participant who is a bridge engineer from Norway. And you know, first day we didn't have any outdoor activity, and she made it a point like to go, because she was really into it, like maybe more on the nature adventure side than the retreat. But so she decided to get up and go to Nongriat, and then she told us, and we were like, okay, are you sure? Because I know people spend the entire day just going to Nongriat. And then we thought, okay, fine, let her go. She went because she's a bridge engineer. She wanted to see the double decker, and we told her, we're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to see a living root bridge, but she did it anyway. She came back in 3 hours, and she went to Rainbow Falls, and we were like in awe, like, you came back, like really? And then she was like still energetic and really,
She came back in time for yoga.
Yeah, in time for yoga. Okay, and then again we went the next day. We took everybody to the Omkar living root bridges, and we were so lucky because we met the only man alive who knows how to build these bridges.
I met him once, yes.
Yeah, Bahali War.
Yeah.
And then when we got to interact with him, you know, we understood, like, from him, you know, he taught us so much, you know, about nature, how he lived with nature. You know, some of the participants asked him, what about your brothers and sisters? Do they know how to build the living root bridge? And he told us, he said that, you know, they went to school, but I didn't go to school, because to build a living root bridge, you know, it takes an entire lifetime. So I dedicated my life to building this living root bridge. You know, so do people really come to appreciate people like this? People who are so close to nature, people who are living embodiment of, you know, what we, you know, it takes us years and years to even get to that point to understand how to live with nature. So are we getting the right people? Are we giving Haliwar the right, you know, light to, you know, to be shown? You know, other than that, other people just come to Sora just as a bucket list. Okay, we've done the double decker, we have climbed 3,000 steps, you know. So we want this kind of, I think everybody in Cherrapunji or the rest of Meghalaya and the tourist spots would agree with me when I say that we want people who are more conscious, and like, you know, like how we see the sacred forests in Meghalaya, how they protect it, and when people go in, they really don't do anything, they really respect. The living root bridges can also be like the sacred living root bridges of Meghalaya, so that, you know, everything is preserved at the end of the day, and we get to help people like Haliwar, for example. Like, we could help him, you know, have a nice road leading to the living root bridge.
I agree.
You know, so that is what I feel.
How about your thoughts?
See, the things that when we say women come to Suki, we do offer, yes, an experience for that Teskem said, you know, to say normal tourist places, but we bring about a different, I think, point of view to it as well. Just like Arwa Caves, where they did the womb meditation, but, you know, we actually meshed, you know, the experience with other things which would be relevant, you know, to women. Then another, I wanted to say that, you know, it does seem that we might be attracting maybe only to participants from out of Meghalaya, but even the locals actually would really benefit from this, because they would actually, for example, if they had gone with that group to, you know, visit, they would have actually seen the living root bridges from a different point of view. As well as the Arwa cave, you know, they would actually see our place from a different point of view, just from the experience that we provide, and then the participants that are there together, you know, like the sisterhood, it creates a different experience. And then obviously the food, you know, perspective as well. It's like, you're not just going to, okay, yes, I introduce Khasi food or, you know, Jaintia Garo food for participants from outside, but again, I introduce, you know, I'm giving new suggestions of how you can use it in a healthier way, how you can use substitutes or alternatives. So, you know, even locals as well as, you know, whoever comes from outside, all women would benefit from Suki Wellness Retreat. It's not just that, okay, we have an experience where we go to the cave, so okay, maybe it's only for tourists. It's not like that. For sure, everyone is welcome. Every woman, no matter what stage of life you are, you could be single, you could be married, you could be a grandmother, great-grandmother, everyone would benefit.
The doors are open.
Yes.
Interesting. Priyanjali?
I think, yeah, just to chime in and to just reiterate their points, it was very important for us, of course, to invite those who are ready for such a journey to come in. It's a transformative experience for sure. But for instance, when we went to the waterfall, and we're so used to going to waterfalls, you know, we have the privilege to just drive out from Shillong and we're here. But we had this practice, which normally you would think, oh, what is water meditation? Oh, we have to sit a certain way, or we have to do a certain thing. And all they had to do was sit wherever they want, sit however they want,
True.
and listen to the waterfall and watch it. And it was actually the local women who were like, oh, for the first time I actually saw the waterfall. You know, I saw the way the water was spraying from the waterfall, the colors, the rainbow hues. And really, I think it invites a different perspective, as Habari said, to look at it for those, you know, who are local as well as the ones who come in. And I think personally for me, it's also the fact why people should come to Suki Suki is because given the fact that the practices we're doing, you know, it's not just preventative or alternative, they're also research-backed practices. For instance, the elemental flow practice we did is informed by Peter Levin's work of somatic experience. The sound therapy that we're doing is of course informed by the work that, for instance, is there in psychoacoustics, Gerald Oster's work on how, you know, the brain waves are altered. So we had a few what I'd call quote-unquote skeptics who actually didn't believe in all of this, and they went back understanding that, hey, it actually impacts. So it's an integral approach that we're looking at, that these are all things that we've experienced ourselves, so it comes from an authentic space of service, but they also are well researched, you know, practices that you can take back, and they're not something as elaborate as, oh, I'm going to do yoga for 1 hour. The idea is that when you step out, you understand that this moment when I'm talking to you and we're really listening and paying attention is your way of doing yoga, or your way of honoring your, you know, presence or the other's presence.
Wow.
So I think that's very important as well, why they should come to Suki Suki, so that they leave realizing that it's always there.
You know what, if you ask me honestly, I don't want this interview to end. However, ladies, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for doing this, and I really can't wait to see more of you girls in the future. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. We do Shillong Bus to bring you stories that inspire and motivate. Stories that will push you forward and not to hold you back. And Suki Suki's story is one that will be edged in the minds and hearts of many for long. May you all find your true calling. A big shout out to all my guests this episode, Habari Wardri, Priyanjali Das, and Taiskem Lindra, for their effort to bring women on a transformative journey of inner inquiry and rediscovery of the divine feminine potential. You're watching Shillong Buzz. I'm Aaron Lingdo. Thanks for watching.